In a constantly evolving world, accurate information is power. Our program offers you in-depth analysis of public policy, healthcare advances, and crucial research. Turn knowledge into action. El Bujo Investigador, your trusted source for leading the future of healthcare.
Hello and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're talking about something millions of us use every single day. You know, that stuff that's sitting on your bathroom shelf or stuffed into your beach bag. Yep, it's sunscreen. And boy, does it come with a lot of baggage, right? We are constantly bombarded with these conflicting messages. One headline says it's our absolute best defense against skin cancer. The next one blames it for, hormonal chaos and killing entire ecosystems. It's a lot. So where's the truth in all this noise? Well, in this explainer, we're going to cut right through it. We'll start with the confusing necessity of it all, then the undeniable benefits, tackle the myths versus the realities for your health, look at the environmental impact, and finally, help you make an informed choice. All right, first up, sunscreen, a confusing necessity. And that really is the heart of the problem, isn't it? The questions feel huge, and the answers we get just seem to contradict each other all the time.
I mean, we all know that sunshine is key for our bodies to make vitamin D, which is super important for our bones and immune system. So it's a totally logical question to ask. If I'm slathering on stuff that's designed to block the sun, am I also blocking this really vital process in my body?
And then you've got the bigger picture. You see those news reports, the viral posts about chemicals from our sunscreen washing into the ocean. The headlines are screaming that it's causing catastrophic damage and killing coral reefs. That's a huge weight to put on a simple tube of lotion. Okay, so to really get a handle on this, let's go back to square one. Let's talk about the undeniable benefits. Why do we even use sunscreen in the first place? It all comes down to protecting ourselves from something we can't even see, ultraviolet radiation. So, the sun sends out a whole spectrum of light, but for our skin, we're really focused on two types, UVA and UVB. A good way to remember it is UVA is for aging. These are the rays that go deep, causing wrinkles and all that photoaging stuff. And UVB, think B for burning. These are the ones that give you that nasty sunburn and are the main driver behind most skin cancers. And this isn't some rare thing that happens. Get this, over a third of adults in the US get sunburned every single year. That's not just a little, oops, I forgot to reapply on vacation. It's a massive, widespread issue that, let's be honest, a lot of us have been through. And this right here, this quote gets to the core of the danger. A sunburn isn't just a painful, temporary thing. Nope. Every single time you burn, it's a sign that your skin's DNA has been damaged. And that damage adds up. It's cumulative. So the more burns you collect over your life, the higher your risk for skin cancer goes. All right, so we've established why we need protection. Now let's jump into those big health concerns we talked about at the beginning. Let's separate the myths from the realities.
Okay, first up, the whole vitamin D debate. The big myth is that sunscreen just completely blocks your body from making it. But the reality, it's not that simple. The science actually shows something way more nuanced. For instance, a big 2019 study showed that even when people use sunscreen perfectly, like exactly how you're supposed to avoid getting burned, their bodies still made plenty of vitamin D.
And what about that chemical safety question? The myth is that these chemicals are proven to mess with our hormones. The reality is, it's all about context. Here's the deal. Yes, some lab studies on animals, often with crazy high doses, have shown some effects. But, and this is a big but, when scientists look at all the data from large-scale human studies, they just don't find that same link. There isn't support for a connection to things like fertility issues or cancer in people.
Now this is a real eye-opener. The SPF number on the bottle, that's based on lab tests where they use a ton of sunscreen. We're talking a full shot glass worth for your entire body. But in real life, who does that? Almost no one. Most of us use way, way less. And the result is that the SPF 30 you think you're wearing is actually performing more like an SPF 10 or 15. A huge difference.
Okay, so we've talked about our own skin, but that's only half the conversation. Let's zoom out and talk about the environmental impact. beyond just us. So basically, there are two main families of sunscreen. You've got your organic or chemical sunscreens. They work by absorbing UV light and turning it into a tiny bit of heat. Then you have the inorganic or physical ones. You might know them as mineral sunscreens. These use ingredients like zinc oxide or titanium dioxide to create a physical shield on your skin that just reflects or scatters the UV rays away.
So how does this stuff even get into the environment? Well, it's a pretty straight line. You put it on your skin, you go for a swim, or you take a shower. It washes off, and from there it goes right into our waterways, our oceans, rivers, and even down the drain into wastewater.
And yes, scientists are definitely finding it there. In really busy spots like a popular beach in a bay where tons of people are swimming, the concentrations of some of these chemical filters can get up to this level, over 10 micrograms per liter. Now, to be clear, in most places, the levels are much, much lower than that. But it shows it's making its way into the ecosystem.
So what does this actually mean for the reefs? The National Academies of Sciences did this huge deep dive into all the research. And here's what they found. Yes, in a lab, some sunscreen ingredients can be toxic to coral. But, and this is key, it's really, really hard to say that sunscreen is the main reason reefs are dying out in the wild. Why? Because there are so many other things hammering them at the same time, like pollution and, the big one, warming oceans.
Okay, wow, that was a lot, I know. From our own bodies to the planet's health. So let's get down to the practical stuff. How do you take all this and actually choose a sunscreen? Here's your toolkit.
Let's break it down. You've got your chemical sunscreens, which tend to feel nicer on the skin. They're lighter, they rub in clear. On the other side, you have the mineral sunscreens, which are usually seen as having a lower risk for the environment. When it comes to UVA protection, zinc oxide is an absolute rock star, while avobenzone is a big deal on the chemical side. Really, it boils down to what you care about most. The feel, the environmental side, it's a personal trade-off.
But here's the bottom line. No matter which type you go for, chemical or mineral, the experts have some really clear advice. Here's what to look for on the label. First, broad spectrum. That's non-negotiable. It protects you from both UVA and UVB rays. Second, SPF 30 or higher. Remember that gap between lab and real life? This helps close it. And third, water resistant, so you know how long it'll last when you're swimming or sweat.
So when it comes down to it, with the health of our skin and our planet both in the balance, how will you choose to face the sun? The risk of sun damage is proven. It's real. The other potential harms? Well, that science is a lot more complicated. Understanding that difference is what empowers you to make a choice you feel good about. And that's all the time we have for this explainer. We really hope this gives you the clarity you need to make confident choices about sun protection. Thanks so much for listening. Be sure to follow us for more deep dives like this, and we'll see you for the next one.